I'm back. Married at First Sight UK, Episode 5, Part 2. We're now on to our last two couples to tie the knot. First of all, we have Tayah and Adam. And lastly, Jordon and Alexis. First of all, starting with Tayah. She's 25 and an estate agent. She describes herself as fun. Her list of requirements are someone fit, so someone that works out. She likes the Jack the Lad type of guy, but not a cocky guy. Someone confident. And that was about it. She does, however, want children and is looking for her Mr. Right to start her family with. Next we have Adam, who is 26. He's an electrician. He has never been in a relationship. But his requirements are, he's looking for a relationship exactly like his parents, for they are his role models. And on top of that, someone that looks after themselves and has a nice pair of, you know what? That's right, you heard me. On to the next. Next we have Alexis, who is 28 and a model. She describes herself as strong, independent, fiery and territorial. Interesting. She also describes herself as an onion with many layers. And I can well believe that. Her facade is very demure, but get on the wrong side of her and there'll be fireworks. That's my opinion, by the way. She describes herself as a hopeless romantic, but that's once her guard is down. She wants to have a family, so she's looking for the right guy in relation to that. Her past boyfriends have been very controlling, so she thought that was love, where they were very controlling. But she later found out that was not the case. I look forward to see how she gets on in this process. Next we have Jordon. He's 27 and a personal trainer. He's done a lot of this online dating, but it really hasn't worked out for him. His ideal woman is long-legged blondes with blue eyes and a nice tan. He's looking for marriage, to settle down, have a family, and also to have fun. Now the fun bit I'm struggling with, because he comes across very miserable to me. Now the matchmakers paired these two together, Jordon and Alexis, because of their family values. And in regards to Jordon, they turned around and said Alexis may not be his usual type. To be honest, that plays an important part. If he's into the blonde hair, blue eyes, long-legged chicks, Alexis is not that. We're going to have to wait and see. Fast forward to when both couples broke the news that they were getting married. In regards to Adam, Alexis and Jordon, trying to remember the names, I found them all very fake. They already knew what was coming. So I can't be surprised by the reactions there. It just looked very put on. Now when it came to Tayah now, that looked more real. With Tayah's mum, she says she was horrified. It's not who we are as a family, she said. She doesn't believe in this process at all. She's not behind the whole matchmaking factor of this. I know Tayah's father will not be coming to the wedding. He's adamant. But the mum is still on the fence. She feels it's quite a drastic way of trying to find a partner. And she's also afraid of the impact it may have on her if it doesn't work out. So she has all her reservations. She has a point. Tayah was devastated that it didn't go the way she had planned, and she's really into family. She really wants her parents to be there, or especially her mum to be there. So we're going to have to wait and see how that pans out. Fast forward to the wedding ceremony of Jordon and Alexis. I really wasn't feeling that church. Oh, it just felt cold. Oh no. It was such a big church for very few guests. Jordon looked comfortable enough, not too nervous. His only concern is that he's attracted to his bride, even though he knows personality is as equal. But I still have concerns in regards to his ideal woman, which is blonde haired, blue eyes, tall and tanned. And as we can see, Alexis does not fit that description. Now, when Alexis arrived, she came with her mum. Her mum was the one that walked her down the aisle. And I did like how Alexis, once she approached the groom, she said hello to the groom, but she also said hello to the nan, which was a great acknowledgement of somebody that's got manners. I didn't see him, though, say hello to her party. I don't recall that. He did say hello to his nan just to make sure that she was okay, but I don't recall him acknowledging the bride's party. And also, the bride's mum also acknowledged the nan from across the aisle. So that was a nice thing as well. Made her feel welcome. When the groom acknowledged the bride, it was very nice, but I still found him a little hesitant. I'm sure he found her pretty, but at the same time, she's not quite what he ordered. I'm not sure what to think at this moment. When exchanging vows, he did stumble on his at the beginning, which sort of lightened the mood a bit. And I did like his content, as well as Miss Alexis when she did her vows. The only one thing I would say about her with her vows, the line about being angry, I'll try not to be angry, something like that she said. I thought, but why would you put that in there? In your vows? That don't make no damn sense. But besides that, everything was good. Again, when going in for the kiss, he went for the cheek, or the side of the lips or cheek, somewhere around there. I always question people that do that. That concerns me. Does he find her attractive or does he not? When they were having their photographs taken, again, awkward moment. Again, it was awkward. This reminds me of, what's his name? Josh and, oh God, forgotten. Is it Amy? Josh and Amy. Yeah. The same situation, same scenario. Both come across very similar, very awkward. Didn't want to do any kisses for the photographer, for the photographs. I know she was willing. If he was welcoming, she would have gone straight in. So, yeah, I have my doubts about this. Fast forward to the reception. Ooh, that whole affair was frigging awkward. At the top table, you could see Alexis' thoughts were just going round and round and round, thinking, does this guy like me? Do I meet his expectations? He was just like, he was away with the fairies. He was just knocking back the champagne, squirming in his seat, licking his lips, didn't know what to do with himself. Oh, that was just too damn awkward. And then her mother, sitting next to him, she's looking at the two of them and thinking, oh, I don't know. Is he a good match for my daughter? I don't actually recall him speaking to Alexis's mum. But I do recall Alexis speaking to his nan. Oh, this is just a mess. There was no conversation unless Alexis instigated it. I remember the mum as in the bride's mum, mentioned about a bit of a dry wedding, isn't it? Something like that, she said. And I thought, oh God, you took the words right out of my mouth. But it was quite embarrassing at the same time because no one spoke after she said that. There was again an awkward silence. And again, when the bride's mum was speaking to the camera afterwards, she did say something along the lines of him being quite timid. And if he carries on that way, her daughter would eat him up and spit him out. Something of that nature, she said. Something along those lines. And I thought, oh, she's definitely right. There was also a point where Alexis asked him whether he had a specific type. And he turned around and said, no, not really. How you lie, sir? Why you lying? And then when talking to the camera afterwards, my girl Alexis is starting to doubt herself. She has doubts whether he likes her. He doesn't ask her anything about herself, where she lives, what she does, nothing. He hasn't asked a single question. This guy is not interested. Waste of time. Matchmakers, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. Let me not let my blood pressure boil. There was one point where one of his friends or relatives, I'm not too sure who the guy was, pulled him aside outside. That is Jordon we're talking about, to tell him that he needs to open up a bit more because he's looking like a closed book. And I have to agree. It was not long after that him and Alexis went outside to have a chat. Not too sure who pulled who. With them having that conversation, I think that was the most words he had spoken all day. He actually opened up, talked about his how he grew, etc, etc, and same with her. I will say it looked positive at that time, but also I don't know whether he was giving her compliments for the sake of giving her compliments or whether he was saying it from the bottom of his heart. I'm not sure about that. I still feel that he's putting on a facade in regards to what he really wanted for his bride in regards to looks. So we're going to have to see where this goes, to be honest. After that, they did have their first dance. That looked very romantic. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I thought, whoa, is this the same person from the morning that I saw to the evening right now? I did question it. Plus, he actually kissed her on the dance floor. It looked very natural. Again, I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to write him off just yet, but I still have my doubts. Fast forward to the wedding ceremony of Tayah and Adam. Tayah was getting anxious that her mother wasn't going to turn up today. So that was in the forefront of her mind throughout the morning. But with her bridesmaid by her side, she was able to keep her calm and grounded. So they finally set off on their way via a nice white Rolls Royce. She was still talking and wishing for her mum to be there by the time she arrived at the ceremony. Even I had my fingers crossed. Her mother actually did turn up. She got there before her daughter, of course. She was a bit late, but she did turn up. And then the groom arrived shortly behind the mother. So that was the first time her seeing him. I remember her saying, whose crazy idea was this? Everyone just laughed it off, but you could see that she was still anxious. The groom himself was starting to get anxious waiting. Eventually her bridesmaid started walking down the aisle. He actually greeted her thinking she was the bride, which was funny. Eventually the actual bride herself did start walking down the aisle and he was virtually gobsmacked. She was pretty, beautiful, all that he wished for. The words he used were wow. You're absolutely stunning. And then he introduced himself. And then she went over and hugged her mum and told her mum she loved her. And thanks so much for coming. That bit actually got me emotional. I could see it was deep felt. They then went ahead and exchanged their vows, which was followed by a kiss on the cheek. Now, a kiss on the cheek, I'm not normally a fan of. But on this occasion, I'll accept it. I still would have preferred a peck on the lips. But I know he was genuine. When talking to the camera afterwards, they both were in agreement. She mentioned there being 100% spark from her end. And he said something like, she's 100% perfection. Something like that. So they're both good. We're in a happy place. I don't actually recall any photographs being taken afterwards. But anyway, moving on to the reception. When talking into the camera, Adam's father was very happy that she was his daughter-in-law. He could take a sigh of relief knowing that the matchmakers had picked the right woman. Fingers crossed, all is well. Everything seemed to be going well. Tayah was talking to her new father-in-law. They were getting on like a house on fire. But on the other side of the table where Adam was with his new mother-in-law, that was a bit frosty. It got even more awkward when she started asking him no end of questions in regards to why he even agreed to do this. And at the same time, she's more worried about how it would pan out on the outside if things didn't work out. Are you ready for that? Those were the type of questions she was asking. And I can understand her reservations, but there's a time and a place. Adam was getting uncomfortable in his seat. And then with that, he turned around and looked at Tayah. Tayah intervened and sort of tried to calm her mum down, virtually saying, "Mum, this is not the time." She didn't say that, but that's what she meant. The rest of the evening seemed to go off without a hitch. We didn't get to see their first dance though, but they did get a good send-off as they were leaving the reception. So that was a nice sort of cheerio to their new life. I believe the matchmakers this time were on the money. These two are a perfect match. I've got nothing bad to really say about them. The only but, as I always say, there's always a but. It's really her parents that are going to be the obstacles, if anything. But his family are very much on side. She gets on with him. She gets on with his parents. Yeah. But I still see this working out. These two are mesmerised by each other. So this is going to be a good match. I'd love to see how we get on with the honeymoon. And yeah. So this is where I'm going to leave it for now. If you've liked what you've heard, please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.